Day. I turned 38 years old. Yes, getting up there, but yeah, I don't know what to say. Today's kind of different, you know. We've definitely done a lot in the last little while. We now have our place down here at the shore, and just kind of really soaking it all in lately, to be honest. Just being in a different place. I mean, we still have the house obviously in Pennsylvania where we have the shop and all that. We're going to be doing all of our builds, but this has just kind of been something that has, I guess, changed our daily life. Now that we can come down here whenever we want to, and we can kind of make this our second home, and the kids can do virtual school from here. So I mean, I guess there's something good that came from all the schools and everything closing. So at least, you know, we can be at our vacation spot and not have to be home for them to be in school. So yeah, that's just kind of our situation right now, and just been enjoying a bit of a change, to be honest. But there is some things I wanted to talk about Ram related as far as this truck goes, and this is honestly just my real life just experience. I mean, kind of how I thought about this truck, and just the experience that I've had so far with some of the mods that I've done, some of the mistakes that I've made, some of the things that I guess, you know, maybe you want to know before you buy one of these. So I gotta admit, there was a little bit of a learning curve as far as some of the things I did, some of the things I really did like, and I made the right choice right away. Other things, well, I mean, at the time it was right for me, and now the future of this truck is kind of, I guess, the decision-making time of whether I'm going to be keeping this truck for a long term or if I'm going to be trading up to something else. As far as that goes, the TRX is the only thing I'd really want, and I don't see me spending that kind of money, like I've said before. And it's, you know, honestly, for the money that you pay for one of these trucks, like 55,000 bucks pretty much for 62,000 on the sticker, maybe not the greatest deal in the world, but it wasn't bad. You can do a lot for the difference between a TRX and a Rebel. So I mean, if I want to put in a supercharger, which I don't know that there's any really available just yet, but I'm sure that'll be coming out in the next year or so, you can probably put a Magnuson blower on this for, you know, 7,000 in parts. You know, obviously do anything else myself, probably like 700 bucks for a tune, and get to send the ECU out, all that kind of stuff. But you can get a blower for these engines eventually, and that would be pretty cool. 7,000 bucks, really not that much when you consider how much you would probably lose on a trade, and then how much more you have to spend for the Hellcat engine. But obviously that's a 6.2 liter, and it's got the crazy suspension and all that. It's not, we're not comparing the two to each other. You can't just slap a supercharger on these and expect to have, you know, what that thing's going to be. But you can have something fairly similar if you already have this truck and you don't want to end up, you know, redoing all your mods, or like, you know, going into the dealership and completely, you know, spending every cent on getting this other truck. For those of you out there who are getting them, I am very much wanting to see those videos because it looks like an awesome truck. But for me, I'm kind of falling in love with this truck. Like, I gotta say, like, when I first bought this, I did not intend to keep it at all. I figured, okay, I'm just gonna do some mods. We're going to just kind of go through what is available on the market, show you guys how to put it all in, see, just kind of field test it a little bit, show you guys exactly, you know, what to expect from certain things that I've done, like the SST lift, the 35-inch tires. I think right now I'm at like a -20 with my spacers, and I did have to cut a significant amount of plastic out of the inner fenders, but I didn't have to touch any of the metal. So that's kind of where we're at with that. And just as far as like running a Switch Pros, which is absolutely awesome if you want to run accessories, solid state system, no fuses, no relays, and all that kind of stuff. Very, very clean. And also we did the interior lighting, all the ambient lighting, because that was another thing that really bothered me about this truck. It didn't have it. So we ended up putting that in, and it's color changing on an app. You can do whatever you want. Just change the brightness. You can have go to the music. It does a whole lot more than just factory ambient lighting would be doing anyway. So yeah, it's just, I've kind of put a lot of that time into this truck, and I'm kind of starting to really like it. And there's a thing about the TRX is they don't have Ram boxes, and I think that was a big mistake because those are awesome. I know the wide body or whatever, they probably don't fit, but they should have thought of something, in my opinion. But all in all, I mean, it is a pretty cool truck, but I really like my Ram boxes. I use those things every single day, and if you haven't had them, you definitely are missing out. You don't lose that much bed space, honestly. Like, you can still put a 4x8 sheet of plywood back there, no problem. I've been hauling all kinds of construction stuff and whatever in this truck, and the ram boxes have done nothing but help. I mean, honestly, like I'll put my straps or whatever in there, put something in the back, you know, I don't have to go digging through. Even like it has the little compartments under the floor in the back, just for whatever. You can use them as a cooler, you can put store stuff in them. I don't really even use those just because I find having to lift up the mat, open the door, whatever, they're not that big. It's not something I use all that much, but the ram boxes, I use those things all the time, and that's something the TRX doesn't have. So I mean, I don't know, we're really kind of comparing the amount of money spent to what you're getting with the other truck. And that brings me to suspension. The SST lift, it's okay. It's not great. I mean, it's great for $900. It'll get you up in the air enough so you can run a 35-inch tire. And if that's all you want to do with your truck and you just want to drive it on the road, that's exactly what that kit is for. And that's the reason I bought it. You didn't have to cut anything out of the truck. You could just basically take out your struts, put there's basically a leveling kit and the preload spacer, which makes the truck, especially a Rebel, ride a little rough. Just gotta mention that as well. I think I might even take mine out, or we might be going with something else as far as the suspension. So I don't know, we'll have to see, because it is a little expensive. But if I'm going to be doing a lot of beach driving and actually taking this truck off-road and doing cool stuff with it, I want to run something that's going to run better angles with the CV axles. I haven't had any problems, but I imagine if you were like really pushing this thing off-road, you might encounter something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but I know the ride quality definitely isn't as good with that spacer in there. And I mean, like they say, I don't even think they're intended for off-road use. It's just basically to get your truck up in the air and give you that look that you want without spending like $3,000 or $4,000 on suspension. But I think, well, I mean, maybe not right away, but in the near future, hopefully we can end up lining something up for suspension and make this thing a little bit more off-road capable. So as far as the Borla exhaust goes, I went all the way and got the Borla Attack, which is the loudest that they have for these trucks, and I absolutely love it. On a daily drive, it is not too loud for me. I mean, honestly, sometimes I feel maybe it could be even a little bit more loud, but that's for me. I mean, honestly, for anybody else, it is very loud. If you open the windows, you definitely hear how much it really projects the sound of this Hemi. But when your windows are up, I mean, there's definitely a lot of insulation in these trucks. So I mean, if you have your windows up, you hear it, but it's not like super crazy unless you're like really romping on it. But when you get into a tunnel and you roll those windows down, definitely lets you know it's there. So obviously, being the first year of a vehicle, you're gonna have a couple of issues that need to be ironed out, but that's just what you come to expect when you buy the first year of anything. And I generally try not to do that, but as far as YouTube goes, it definitely works out, because everybody who is getting into these trucks, they don't know what to expect. And if I've had a truck for a year already, I've already ran into all these issues and kind of been able to overcome them and give you guys the answers that you're looking for, especially the dumb things like if you disconnect your battery and then a bunch of stuff doesn't work for like almost a day the first time I did it. Yeah, I was going into panic mode, and I know a lot of other people did, especially by your comments. So I definitely had to put that video out there, and just stuff like that. I mean, I really love to share all this information with you guys, especially helping in your decision-making process when buying a vehicle, if this is the right truck for you. I just try to share my experience, and hopefully I can help you guys along as far as that goes. So with that being said, I love this truck. I'm going to be keeping it for quite a while, as far as what I can tell for today anyways. And we're going to be doing some more stuff to it, so I'm very excited to share that with you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and as always, keep that hammer down.